Hello again, thank you for joining us for another one of our helpful seminars for you guys, hopefully. And today we're going to be looking at how to establish a food or catering business from home. So getting into that straight away, we're probably better off highlighting some of the benefits as to why you might want to think about this, and quite how accessible this has come for everybody, particularly within the last 2 years, and where the market is today. So at the time of recording this seminar, it's summer 2022. And as this article states here at the top, the catering business from home has become a popular startup idea these days. A home-based catering business doesn't require that much investment, nothing considered to a restaurant. That's why it's becoming popular amongst entrepreneurs who are looking at a cost-effective and low-investment option to start up their business. So if you haven't got lots of money, but you'd like to try and make some money in return, a catering business could be a really good option for you. And you don't necessarily have to be quite so passionate about the food to be able to deliver. Instead, it would be better off maybe educating yourself about some of the returns that are possible within this, and looking at how you could maybe staff this in the future if cooking side of things is not your biggest passion. So first of all, let's highlight some of the benefits. So the food industry is the largest manufacturing sector in the UK. I'm not quite sure why it's being put into manufacturing, but obviously it involves creation. But it's currently worth £28.2 billion a year. So that means there's a potential to earn £28.2 billion a year from food and the creation of. Now, obviously, it's not likely you're going to take all of that and own the entire market. But to even be able to get in, and a small part of that means there's a good, healthy supply of money. And the advantage of a food business for anyone that's not really checking it in the first place is the fact that most humans need to eat 2 or 3 times a day. So it's a good chance you're going to be able to pick up somebody at some stage with your business who's getting hungry and obviously needs to put some food in their belly to be able to continue with the rest of their day. So carrying on down here, the catering industry is a specific part of this huge market, and its contribution was 4.7 billion in 2016, which was expected to exceed or go higher than 5 billion in 2020. Obviously, when we went into lockdown, a lot of people have started running catering businesses from home, and traditional food and catering based businesses had to rethink a lot of their business models with things like restaurants, which is why the delivery option has gone through the roof. And these days we have really helpful supply chains to help you with a lot of this, like Deliveroo, like Just Eat, like Uber Eats. So today's seminar is going to help you to understand how you can turn something simple that you're passionate about, or you have friends or family around you that you know have talent when it comes to cooking, and explore how to put that into a business model. Like I say, I want to highlight this article. I'm not going to read it in depth, but some of the main points just to pick up are, there are 10 steps highlighted. So just to kind of touch on those quickly, the first thing you're going to need to do is some market research. So have a look at what's available in the area and try and look for what isn't being sold at the minute that you might have a little angle for. If you have different heritage to UK, this may be a huge chance for you to expose some of your family's, natural kind of culinary specialities, and make that something that you can sell to the masses for a really good profit too. In exactly the same way, if you notice that the idea that you had is heavily saturated, so there's lots of other people with similar businesses in the area, maybe rethink or maybe specialize for just 1 or 2 dishes and make yourself a little bit more boutique and unique with that. Okay, coming down further again, you're going to need to identify who you think your target customers are. So again, if you were living in somewhere like Canary Wharf, you're probably going to have quite affluent people there. So have a think about the type of cuisine that they're going to want. Obviously, the advantage is you could probably price a bit higher if your food's good, but you're going to need to think about the type of people in the area that you're hoping to sell to and why. If anyone's not familiar with this word here, niche, this is your little gap in the market, what everyone else isn't doing. So you really want to try and find something like that. And we've got some examples to share in a minute of how you could maybe offer a more competitive option for specialist dishes rather than offering such a generic spread, and that might also help you get better margins because you're only buying certain ingredients. But again, here you're also going to need to choose how you're going to want to sell. So do you want to sell to wedding parties, birthday parties, corporate events, picnics, holiday events, festivals, or regular lunch meals to corporate offices and workplaces, or using your delivery supply chain? Okay, you're going to need a name for that, and you're going to have to get some food and safety qualifications. Don't worry, we've got loads of information to help you about that. You're going to need to know how to set up your kitchen. Now, again, this can all be done from home these days, so you don't necessarily have to have a big commercial kitchen, although we are going to mention about ghost, cloud, stroke, dark kitchens, which are basically spot purchase kitchens, or small kitchens that are set up just purely for takeaway options with Deliveroo, so delivery drivers running the food to people's houses. Okay, and you're going to obviously need to know what type of materials you need to cook that. So again, you might want to start with something simple if you haven't got lots of materials organically. Okay, you may need licenses and permits depending on what you're doing, and one other element you're going to have to worry about a little bit is your food hygiene rating, but we've got lots of helpful information to show all of that. You're then going to need to think about a menu and how to price that. Again, we'll cover some bits and pieces to do with that shortly, and then decide on a delivery system as to how that's going to work and a marketing plan. So when we say market, how are people going to know about your business? How are you going to get this information to them? And on top of that, how are you going to encourage people to want to enjoy the experience your food offers to them? Not complicated things, just needs a little bit of a thinking. Okay, so we kind of covered the 10 points they're getting across there. Please have a bit of more of a detailed read. So I want to bring us straight on to a .gov.uk resource, which means this is the UK's national kind of like authority for this, and this is the Food Standards Agency, and they oversee and give guidelines for a lot of food-based businesses. So here we have a very helpful article specifically around starting food businesses from home. Okay, and for this as well, you'll see again that they're highlighting that there's guidance, and you're going to need to cover stuff for food hygiene and food safety. So the first thing to cover, which is going to be highlighted in more detail in some of the videos we're going to share in a minute, is you will need to register as a food business. And to do that, if you click this hyperlink here on the page, it will take you to register with your local authority. So whichever borough, county or local district that you live within will have a specific local authority. They need to be made aware that you're planning to start a food business. Okay, and after that, if you click the video here, it kind of gives you a helpful explanation. You'll also need to decide at some stage whether you're going to do this as a one-person show, so what they call self-employed, or maybe establishing a business, which there's a lot more benefits to establishing that. We've got lots of information in a separate seminar on how to choose a business model, but have a read of the article here. And then on top of that, you're going to need to cover some food hygiene and food hygiene training. Now, helpfully for you guys here, we have a lot of these hyperlinks made available for you again. So for example, if you go in here and type in your postcode, which is at the .gov.uk website again, this will help you to start applying for your license and will also notify your local authority. And for example, your food hygiene course, we found them for as cheap as £10 plus VAT, so probably close to £14. To be able to get yourself informed and able to open a business with a certificate. Okay, I'm not going to go through every aspect of this, but what I do want to point out is how valuable it is to have all this information and thoughts to be considered based on the fact that it's obviously the Food Standards Agency for the UK. So definitely have a look at this article and just make sure you feel confident. Like I say, there's lots of helpful videos. So if reading isn't your strength, there's still videos to be able to click and watch so you can learn from listening to people speaking instead. So I want to use this example quickly to highlight, and this is a kitchen that I happen to notice on my travels within the last 6 months that I think is really relevant to help share today. So this is a Caribbean cuisine kitchen that has opened up and is clearly running from home. But they're using Deliveroo to provide their supply chain to get the food out to customers. And as a byproduct, there are a couple of key things to note here. So within Bournemouth, there isn't huge amounts of Caribbean food options to choose from. I think they have a main high street Turtle Bay option, which now offers delivery, and there is one other place that is quite highly priced, around the £20 mark for most meals that are on this. If we come down here straight away, can you see how they've made themselves a little bit more niche by offering a meal that their competition offers for £20 at £8 cheaper? So again, those that are looking to spend a little bit less and get a traditional Caribbean meal have the option to use this company. And the beautiful thing about this, you'll see they're not offering loads and loads of dishes. They're keeping it very simple, okay, which we would also advise too. And quite simply, these guys will have just got themselves that hygiene certificate. They'll have a traditional recipe that they're used to for these dishes, cooking from home. And as part of that, they'll have some apps, etc., that help them with Deliveroo, that provide the supply chain so that customers are then purchasing. And in return for their purchasing, food can then get sent out to the customers using the Deliveroo supply chain. For anyone confused by supply chain, that just means the ability to control taking, receiving the order and getting a driver out with the food.